Well, it was a great win by our football program. These rivalry games are always special, and each year that we've been part of it, we found out how important the boot is and how many of our alums and people in the state and our former players. So it's for a whole lot of people. It was a great win, and we're going to move forward from here. So questions?
Craig, there were so many turning points, but when Chase got that pick six, was that to you maybe the biggest turning point, or if so, not what was?
Well, I think obviously that had a huge impact anytime you score on defense. But as you know, the previous week we did it twice. I think that with the combination of us just being able to establish a running game, and then our defense really coming up with some big plays, and also special teams. I thought Ethan Woods tonight was outstanding.
Coach, you switched it up, giving Sean Wick a few carries throughout the game. How did that change the pace of the offense for you? How did it change any of the scheme?
Well, we feel like we've got two really talented tailbacks, and when one guy's had a long run, we've got another guy in there. It was great to have both of those guys.
You mentioned keeping blocks longer earlier in the week.
Pardon me?
You mentioned keeping your blocks longer along the offensive line earlier in the week when we talked on Monday. Pretty pleased with how that turned out.
Yeah, we really are. There was a pinpointed effort in practice. This is still a young offensive line, and so for them to do what they did along with the tight ends and the fullbacks, that was impressive to me.
Coach, talk about effort. I thought you had great second, third effort tonight. I mean, just across the board, especially after you fell down from behind 14-3.
Well, this team has been very resilient, and I think we've gone through a lot of growing pains around here in past experiences, and there's no quit in them. And we're really pleased that they didn't panic. There was a resolve to keep moving forward.
Coach, that flea flicker, did you have a say in that call, or can you take me through that decision?
That's Coach Vegan's call all the way.
Coach Vegan, Brian ran well and set the record, but is he right? Has he kind of been Brian? Is he?
I think he was a little. Had a growing pull tonight. He wasn't exactly full speed, but he did everything he could.
And what about your defense, Craig? They gave up some big plays, but they also hung in there and then got some stops and got the pressures. What did you think of them tonight?
Well, I was really pleased with them. That quarterback, that freshman quarterback's a good player. Last year, that offensive line threw us around, and I thought we won the line of scrimmage there. Our defensive guys made a lot of plays.
Coach, there was that sequence where Sean scored, then there was turnover, and then the flea flicker right after. How huge was that just confidence-wise for the guys?
Well, that was huge, and I think the timing came into play, and anytime you can score right after a turnover, that really has a big impact in the ball game.
How big of a step is this for the programming to win the rivalry game for the first time, and mentioned being physical? I mean, I know it's not a finished product, but just how big a step did it take tonight?
This is an important step. If I heard it, I'd be a rich man. If I heard 100 times, hey, you got to get the boot back, coach. And so, big win. We're going to enjoy it for 24 hours and start working on Air Force.
Coach Josh Allen, when he got off of that touchdown run, he sits on the bench and says, "I will not be denied. I want this blank too bad." From your players, from freshmen to seniors, what does this game mean for them? What does this win mean for them?
Well, that's been a building process. It started all the way back in the winter. And this group's come together. They are determined, and Josh is an intense competitor.
Craig, you saw that crowd out there. You went over, you stood in front of them. A glorious night through this state.
Yeah, it really is. I think of people in Wyoming, this is an important game. And a lot of history to it. So, I had a chance to stand back and just see how they enjoyed it, and certainly it's gratifying.
Coach, I know it's not the focus now, but Brian getting the record, what's it mean to know that he has that?
Well, I think it's a great accomplishment by Brian and the offensive line, and he certainly is a talented player.